We're talking about crypto venture and the $2.5 billion fund fresh for Paradigm here. Coinbase co-founder Fred Ehrsam and former Sequoia partner Matt Huang have raised $2.5 billion for the next generation of cryptocurrency investments. This follows on an A16Z investment round or funding round of $2.2 billion earlier this summer. It also follows a nice report from CoinDesk in October that Paradigm was raising $1.5 billion. Turns out that number was a little bit higher. Zach, you wrote the story. I'm going to throw this one to you. That's a ton of money pouring into the ecosystem.
It is a ton of money. Yeah, wrote the story. Remember reporting this out in October with Ian Allison. According to documents seen at that time, it was going to be around 1.5 billion, depending on how much was chipped in by some of the partners involved in Paradigm itself. But yeah, 2.5 billion. This is the biggest thing since sliced bread in crypto VC. So I think we can think about Paradigm and A16Z really sort of leading the charge when it comes to investing in startups across the space. So yeah, big number. I mean, the timing worked out well for them, right? Crypto assets near all-time highs. I'm sure people were trying to rush in to get checks into this fund, which has been pretty successful to date. So makes sense that they would be, I guess, oversubscribed to this high degree. And it's going to be interesting to see how they start scattering these bets because, yeah, man, this crypto stuff just won't quit, won't go away. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this one. I'm going to kick it back to you. It is interesting to see this two-horse race between Paradigm and A16Z up at the top of the crypto VC world. But yeah, Will, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll add a bit more to your thought there on A16Z and Paradigm before I hand it down to Jen. But A16Z has obviously been around for quite a while. Like, they are the dominant player in the VC industry, and their investments are everywhere, not just in the cryptocurrency space. In fact, I'd believe that they'd be more outside the cryptocurrency space than inside it. But Paradigm is more of a cryptocurrency native VC firm. Of course, Fred Ehrsam co-founded Coinbase. Matt Huang used to be with Sequoia. So they have this VC background, but they're really crypto natives themselves. And I think this $2.5 billion fund speaks to the fact that this isn't going anywhere. Like, crypto is only getting larger. There's only more money pouring into it. And these crypto native VC firms are now competing with the mainstream VC firms that used to just invest in Web2 tech. They used to invest in the Facebooks and the YouTubes of the world. Well, now the paradigm is completely switching now, and we're moving over to crypto land and Web3 investments. Jen, I'll throw it to you.
You set me up so well for my comment. So I wanted to talk about a quote that Fred Ehrsam said. This was published in the Financial Times. He said, "The biggest companies in the world are large internet tech companies powered by network effects. We think decades into the future, it's very clear the largest entities in the world will be powered by tokens." So that's, their vision for the future. I think he's dead on. And we can just see that, people with a lot of money are making big bets on this future. Zach, I'll pass it back up to you.
Yeah, and you mentioned Matt from Sequoia, right? Sequoia itself restructured its funds recently so that it could get in the token investing game, which it's sort of a latecomer to that space. But clearly, I think Silicon Valley is very animated by the opportunities that exist around Web3 and sort of this idea of the ownership economy, where instead of platforms owning that value, the users of those platforms can own that value through tokens. Whether or not that ultimately plays out and this becomes something that works in the real world rather than just venture capital funds holding the big bags and everyone else just sort of picking up the crumbs, that's still to be determined. But the picture here is, okay, a new way to rethink the internet in which users are owning and deciding how these platforms operate. And that's why I think we're seeing such big money pour into some of these funds, some of these vehicles. But I'm going to toss it back to you, Jen.
Is this the biggest fund in history? I think I saw
Not
something
in history,
that said that, but I'm not sure.
In crypto land, yeah, the 2.2 billion from A16Z, which was its third fund, that was announced in June, I think. That at the time was the biggest. So 2.5 billion puts it up there at the top of the list in terms of biggest crypto venture funds in the world. I think it's not unheard of that we're going to see this number topped. Inflation is real. Where's Naomi when we need her? But for now, Paradigm is the top dog when it comes to who has the biggest war chest for crypto investments. It's Paradigm. You better believe it. All right, back to you, Will.
Yeah, just to kind of wrap up the segment here, it's interesting to look at Paradigm's history, and they've always been on point, and they're a very different VC firm than the traditional VC firms. I think VC firms in general are drifting more towards Paradigm, and I think some really salient examples of that are that Paradigm just hires research associates for the purpose of doing research, not for anything else, but just doing research. They have one of the best cybersecurity members on their team, Samson, and he goes out and just wrecks protocols, goes finds what their problems are, and just like responsible disclosures on them. I don't see other VC firms really doing that, but I think more VC firms are going to be doing that going forward. And a lot of Paradigm's bets over the years have played out. Coinbase obviously was probably the biggest one that we saw this year with their stake in that when it went public. That paid out handsomely. So just around the board, like Paradigm is killing it. And it's not surprising to see them raise so much money.